Hey everyone, how are you doing today? My name's Kirsty and on today's video I'm taking you through my bullet journal setup for 2024 as well as my January spreads to show you how I'm using it a little bit differently this year. I'm a bit late getting to this, to be honest. It's been a long start to the year, but here I am and let's get into the journal. I got this through Faco Papier. It's vegan leather, it's got this really cute little design on it, it's even got the year stamped on it. That's about where the how much I love it kind of ends. Unfortunately, this isn't one that I would ever buy again. I just don't feel that the quality is as high as other journals that I've used. I don't like that the paper is off-white, and even though the paper says it's the same thickness as my Archer and Olives and Notebook Therapy, there's just something to it that it just feels slightly lacking. And yeah, it's just not been my favourite one to use so far. The envelope in the back is great, but it has fallen apart 3 times already just by me going like that to put stuff in. It completely pulled off, and I just find the quality isn't actually there, which is disappointing because I had really high hopes for this and was thinking about applying to be an ambassador, but now I don't think I will. The majority of the items used in this are things that I already had, stickers and stuff like that, but if there is one that I do know the specific store, I will obviously tell you and link it below. I wasn't going to do a bullet journal. As you know, I did a video where I was saying goodbye to my bullet journal, but in the end I decided that I still needed something that I can use day to day, and I decided to come up with this. So how we set it up, I decided on my word of the year. I went with the word passion because this is the year where I really want to dive into those passions and the things that I love. And I want to follow my passions, so no more going for jobs that I hate, no more procrastinating on the things that I love to do. So if I want to paint, I'm going to paint, etc. And just really follow my passions and try and actually rekindle with some, because I love history and historical things, yet I don't really do it anymore, and so I'd like to get back into that. So that is my word of the year. My little name page and sticker, this is the cutest little sticker ever. This was from Crafty Planning Shop on Etsy and I just absolutely loved this, and it was this freebie that I got with an order that I placed in that made me decide on the sort of colour scheme for this setup, because a lot of my yearlies are pinks and purples and very cutesy, which is very different to what I normally go for. As always, we have the future log. You will notice that throughout the journal there are some bits that I have blanked out. This is obviously because it's personal, private stuff, which is the downside of filming this after I've already started using it, but I wanted to show you it actually in use rather than just here's all these pretty spreads that I'm never going to fill in or use. And then I always like to start my bullet journal with a little reflection on the previous year. So I talked about 2023 was my year of being brave. I tried a lot of new things. I reached out. I admitted I had a crush on someone, and that someone is now my someone. And just a lot of things happened. And then I like to do a little 10 things that happened, and I keep this one very positive. I look at my achievements, I look at the things that I'm proud of. Ren was one of the biggest things that happened last year. Things like I started a new job. Okay, I might not have stayed with that job, but I did at least start it. And I didn't quite read 100 books, but I got so close I might as well. And I made lots of new friends, made lots of new community on YouTube, and it was just a great year. This is where I've kind of blanked a lot of things out because obviously my goals are my goals. I like to do a little spreadsheet, a little brainstorm before I write my goals out. These are kind of like the big hopes and dreams as well. So see Ren in Australia, go to the dentist for the first time in a decade. Don't judge, I have phobias. Finish a first draft of a book finally, all of those kind of things. And then I break them down a little bit further into my goals. So I have 2 pages worth of goals. We have creative, social media. Creative are obviously the ones where I want to go into that self-confidence and express myself and the passion. So we've got things like playing around with my clothing. I would like to get confident enough with watercolours to do an A4 piece. Things like that. Social media, it's just sort of goals and things that I want to get to with my YouTube, my Bookstagram, things like that. I'm already failing on one of those goals, which is hilarious. Recreation, it's just sort of personal things. So I've got things like, at least by the end of the year, be comfortable with the Korean alphabet and understand the basics. And I want to start playing more video games that aren't Genshin. And then professional, I've just got a couple of things like getting a new job again. I want to work on my Etsy because I really do want to work on my candle business. And I've got another side Etsy thing that I would like to do. Quarter year check-in every 3 months at the end of each sort of quarter. I'll do a little bit of a check-in, have a look at those goals, see which ones I am either achieving or working towards, and then just making sure that I pick out the ones that I'm not, so I know to focus on those for the next quarter. I have a little bills tracker, so just every month I write down what I owe and then colour it in as I pay it. And then to buy, these are just things that aren't things that I would think of necessarily. So the biggest one that I want to add on there is a desk chair, because I currently sit on dining room chairs and they are not very comfortable. So I need an actual work desk chair so I don't hurt myself every time I sit down to work. I have my social media stuff. So I have my social media trackers. At the end of each month I write down where I'm at, and as you can see, on YouTube I had a little bit of growth, Instagram I had a good growth, and then TikTok kind of just stayed about the same. And then I've got a little video and content ideas, so anytime I think of an idea for what I want to do for my YouTube, I note it down. And then I have a little bit of a health and fitness section. So just at the start of each year I weigh myself. I don't live by the scales. I don't want anyone to think that. I'm I weigh myself as and when I feel like it, not because I have to, but I do like to have a look year by year of where I'm at, and I was very happy with the progress I was making. I know for a fact that I'm no longer at that number because I am having some trouble, so I've been doing a lot of comfort eating, not exercising as much, so I know it's no longer at that number, but as long as by the end of the year it's around about then, I will be happy. And then I like to have a little bit of a fitness sort of things that I want to do through the year. So I want to keep up with my dancing. I'd really like to go swimming again, see if maybe I do still love it. I keep saying this every year, but I actually do want to try yoga this year. And then with health and fitness, it's just I make a little note here of all the medication that I'm on, just for my own records. And then I have a little K-pop section because, as I said, K-pop has taken over my life in the past year, so I felt I needed to have a little section, and of course it had to be decorated with my boys from ATEEZ because Ren bought me a set of stickers and I was like, oh my god. And I'm sorry, but choreo, how perfect is San doing this little do with his hands? Like, that is just perfect for the choreo. And Yosang with his little mic. I've now got a list of artists that I am a big fan of, or they're not like my alts, but I'm definitely interested and would like to track their comebacks. And I also am interested in looking out at a few debuts this year. So we have Damon, who released in January. They're pretty cool, actually. They're quite, I like their aesthetic and I like their style. But at the moment, none of my groups have launched any concerts or comebacks. And if you're interested, my alt group is ATEEZ. And then way up there with them, but not quite my alt groups, we have Stray Kids and Dreamcatcher. And then making their way up there are Extraordinary Heroes, basically everyone that I saw on Career on stage. But also I recently discovered that I quite like TXT. A few of their songs have popped up on my Spotify and I was like, ooh, this is quite rocky sounding. And after listening a few more times, I'm like, okay. And Farewell Neverland just hits my brain in a really happy, good way. And then when a new song comes out, or if there's a choreo that I really like and I now want to learn it, I make a note of it, and then I'm going to try and learn some choreo this year. And then we go into our January spreads. So obviously I didn't record a setup for January or my bullet journal. I just ran out of time and motivation to do it. But January, I just kind of went with this unicorny, whimsical sort of purples, pinks and blues theme, and I actually really like how this came out. This was a postcard. I used to get a subscription, and I kind of still want to get a subscription to Pipsticks, which is a sticker company based in America, and every month you got a specific theme and they'd send you loads of stickers around that theme. So I've still got lots of those, but you'd get a postcard, and so I used the postcard. And then I just found various bits that fit with the theme that I went with, and so yeah, I did that. My month was a mess, as you can see. Things got moved, things got changed, but there are way more highlighted bits than unhighlighted, because highlighter means I did it, and I'm actually really happy with that. My to-do list got much bigger than this teeny tiny box, so boom, I made a running to-do list, and I've now got a dedicated page for it, as well as some notes just for any thoughts or things like that. And again, I've covered those because there's stuff that you guys don't really need to know. These little tracker stickers are incredible, and these are the ones that I did love from Faco Papier. These are just like little stickers, so you put the date, the thing that you want to track, and then each day you colour it in or whatever. I've got my hobby tracker and my medicine tracker, so I just chose 5 hobbies or 5 things that I wanted to work on, and as you can see, reading I did great, dance I did sporadic, and then everything else just kind of got ignored. But January was a weird month. And then I've just got a few notes on things that I wanted to do. And then medicine tracker, it's helping me to realise just how many painkillers I take a day, and it's making me realise that I really do want to work on reducing the amount that I take. And then I've got a few health notes, like my period tracker. I wrote down a couple of links that I discovered with my IBS and what causes some flare-ups, things like that. And then I wrote a little note to myself just to say what I need to do next month. Then we have my memories and reflection pages. I think this is my favourite page in the journal so far. So I have a thing that made me smile today, and I didn't have enough space for every single day, but most days something made me smile, so I just wrote it down. And there were small things and there were a couple of big things. So small things, like there was one day I was blowing my nose, and every time I blew my nose it went ee, and it made a really hilarious noise, and it just sent Ren into absolute fits of laughter, and obviously then that made me laugh. So there was that. And then we have things like launching my new TBR game, that made me smile, and taking Ren to the Roman ruins, that put the biggest smile on my face. These are like the little memories, and then the big things that happened in the month go in this section. So we have things like the best birthday ever, decorating my bedroom, taking Ren to the snow dome to see snow for the first time, and taking the boys out, those kind of things. I love them. And then the last sort of planned spread and setup that I used for the month was this one. I kind of like the idea, I don't watch loads of TV, but while Ren was here we were watching quite a lot, and then I decided I've now watched loads of K-drama, but I can't remember exactly what I have watched and what I thought. So I'm going to start keeping a little track of what I watch and then making some notes. So I haven't finished this one yet. Kiss Sixth Sense, I finished the episodes, but I haven't finished filling in my thoughts, because the last 2 episodes I felt like I was watching a different show and I absolutely hated it. So it was really disappointing, because up until then it had been really solid. But watching with Ren, while they were here, we watched Bluey, we watched How to Keep a Mummy, Yuri on Ice, Ghosts, we watched the One Piece live action, and a couple of sort of quiz show type things. And then after they left, I watched the Artful Dodger, which was really good. Didn't expect it, but it was fun and fresh, and it was so cool to follow Dodger the years after Oliver Twist, and it was nice that the focus was on him and not Oliver Twist. And then I was watching a couple of my comfort shows. I know it sounds so weird that Sons of Anarchy is a comfort show for me, but it is. Certainly the first 2 seasons. And then Criminal Minds, I am determined that I am going to finish watching it, because I've never watched it through to the end. I always get to like season 11, which is where 2 of the major cast members left, and the whole dynamic of the team just felt wrong after that. So I've always given up at that point, but I'm now on season 13, so I'm the furthest I've ever been. After that, it was all stuff that I hadn't planned, but I'm treating this as a bullet journal slash a whatever I need it to be and in that moment kind of journal for the month. So that's where I expended on my notes and to-dos. And then I did, for one of my reading vlogs, I decided to give myself a challenge of 150 pages a day. So I created a weekly spread for that. And every day I was tracking how many pages I read. I've also got a thing in my reading journal that I was using, but this just looked nice and it was a way to see, you know, that I mostly managed my goals. Then I started planning my new TBR game, so I used my bullet journal to make my notes and see my plan and make my plans in here. So that's what all of this is just all the plans and notes and thought process. And then I had an appointment, so I took my journal to make some notes. And then I haven't yet finished my January. I've still got to do my playlist of my most played songs. And then I like to do a little end of the month reflection on things like I'm currently feeling, I'm doing, I'm celebrating, I'm this, I'm that. And it just gives me a monthly overview. So that is my bullet journal setup for the year as well as January. For February, I'm going to be releasing a video very soon. I hope you're all good. I hope you're staying safe. And until next time, bye.